let's take a look at what's going on in the Pacific. Japan is beginning to naval invade the British Malaya. We've drawn a line in Singapore. We're not going to allow the Greater East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere to take that. And in Europe, we are making final preparations to end the war with the German Reich. I'm just working on air superiority in the Alpine region. Alright, all the pieces are in place to join in the war in the Pacific. I'm going to find a call to arms that has Japan in it. Qing China did not. Let's check Belgium. And there it is. We're going to accept this. And we are going to stop the Japanese advances in the region. I'm going to show any major naval engagements. I anticipate picking off a lot of troop convoys moving through the region. Look at weather conditions. And I'll turn alerts to high to notify me of any engagements with my Pacific fleets. Looks like we're going to engage with some troop convoys immediately. And quite possibly engage Yammamoto's fleet. I'll be watching that carefully. Alright, so far in the Pacific it's all minor engagements. Nothing big to show, but we are going to execute our orders to take Vienna. So General Truscott will be paratrooping in, and then I will execute Omar Bradley's orders. And the 101st Airborne has landed. We also want to secure that airfield to the southwest. And I had forgot to originally execute the glider planes, which we do have going now. And all of our airborne divisions have landed. We are now going to take some key positions around Vienna. And a quick look at what we got going on currently in the Pacific. Alright, so I do have a carrier task force. Admiral King is going to be engaging Ozawa here. The Battle of the Philippine Sea under stormy conditions. And as you can see, we have 2 submarines already sunk and 1 convoy for the Japanese. And here we go, our first major naval engagement. And we do have the Pride of the Fleet here. So far, a dozen destroyers of the Japanese Navy and a heavy cruiser have been sunk. Looks like a really big statistical advantage for us. Let's speed it up a little. We just took a big hit to a battleship. Japanese fleet is in retreat. See if we can get a couple more ships sunk here. They've got a battleship and heavy cruiser pretty low. We just lost the battleship. They lost the Hyuga battleship. And we lost the USS Nevada. We have a heavy cruiser pretty low. So our first naval victory. It looks like we lost a battleship and some minor things. They lost a carrier, battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, 41 destroyers, and 5 light cruisers. Our airborne divisions are under siege in Vienna. I'm not going to use Last Stand. I did think about it, but equipment-wise, they're okay. We're going to force Omar Bradley's troops to move and rendezvous with our airborne. I'm also going to execute General Patton's orders. We're going to move towards Danzig. And we'll take a look at how close the German Reich are to capitulation. So just need a couple more victory points and the German Reich will be out of the war. And we'll have Admiral King and Takagi for our next major naval battle. And they do have the Pride of the Fleet here. So the second major naval engagement is underway. Admiral King and Admiral Takagi. They do have the Pride of the Fleet here. Ours is moving in. We have the USS Pennsylvania just out of range. So our battleships are taking some big hits. We do have a heavy statistical advantage in this engagement. They are retreating. The Japanese Navy is retreating. It is stormy conditions. And we have 2 battleships that are low. We just lost a battleship, the USS New York. And it looks like the Japanese are successfully evading us. 2 heavy cruisers have been lost for the Japanese. About 36 destroyers right now. So let's take a look. This is a victory. They lost 37 destroyers and 2 heavy cruisers. But we did lose 2 battleships, so that did come at a high price. Alright, Admiral King and Ozawa have locked horns again in the Battle of the Philippine Sea. Stormy conditions and all of their battleships and heavy cruisers, they don't have any screens really. So they've lost 4 heavy cruisers. USS Pennsylvania is low, but they've lost 3 battleships. Oh, this is going to be a huge victory for Admiral King. Look at that. Pride of the Fleet, the Nagato has been sunk. That was a huge score for the United States Navy. See if we've got anything else going on. And the German Reich has capitulated. So Germany is out of the war. Here, June 1941. And we can focus our attention now onto Italy. I'm going to move General Patton to Hungary. He's going to push to Budapest. Omar Bradley, Mark Clark, and Courtney Hodges are going to stay focused on Italy. I'm going to start moving my heavy fighters to the Pacific, help out with air superiority. Alright, looks like I missed the naval battle here, but a nice victory for Admiral King. I'm going to go ahead and repair USS Pennsylvania. I'm actually going to send the entire fleet to repair together. That way, if I send the pride of the fleet by itself, it doesn't get picked off. And we have another major naval engagement in the South China Sea. Admiral Nimitz and an admiral I'm not familiar with. If I had to guess, I'd say Admiral Hasegawa. So already they've taken losses to what looks like 3 battle cruisers. A big statistical advantage for the United States Navy. They do have a pride of the fleet carrier here, and they are retreating. So 4 big ships. Looks like battle cruisers sunk. A battleship has now been sunk. About 40 destroyers. All of their screens are just decimated. And all the heavy ships are pretty low. So a nice victory for Admiral Nimitz. We only lost a couple destroyers and we re-engaged them immediately. Wow, this is going to be big. And another victory, and they have lost that entire fleet. Huge victory for Admiral Nimitz. Got a couple of convoys. I'm not sure where Nimitz is going. We're going to stop this. No. We're going to cut off that sea zone and bring him back. We're going to manually assign him to a dock in the Philippines. And I think he was going to repair at one of these ports. I forget that Qing China is allied with me, and my fleets will just go repair in one of their docks, even though this sea zone was disabled, the Sea of Japan. It's pretty annoying, but I think I just saved the fleet from being destroyed. Alright, I'm going to start assigning some Marines to an amphibious assault. We are going to try to take Taiwan under General Patch. Alright, so looking at Italy, they're being naval invaded from every direction. My airborne missions are being disrupted because the Allies have already taken Rome. So I'm just going to execute my general's orders. We're going to finish off Italy. So I'm going to go ahead and execute my airborne orders anyway, and we can maybe take that airfield. And we're just going to execute all of our orders. We're just going to play this really aggressive and look to end the war with the Axis powers now. I'll take Anzio. I'm going to push for that airfield. Alright, so we're going to give General Truscott and the airborne orders to end this war. Alright, let's take a look at our current naval losses. We've lost 34 ships. They've lost 1,115. Our enemies. We have been completely dominant in the naval game. I may not have done everything perfectly, but it's worked really well, as you could see. Alright, I don't think I need it anymore, but I'm going to duplicate my marine template and just make a mountain division. I anticipate ending the war with Italy in moments, and then ending the war with Japan maybe by 1942. So I'm just going to go with a 20 wide division. And I'm actually going to do it out of this template. And the reason for that is I don't want the artillery. I'm just going to make it straight mountain divisions. Alright, so there we go. I'm going to save it. That'll be my mountain division. Change the naming convention. Good to go. Up the priority. And I'm going to get 10 of them training. Here in 1941, we are going to end the war. We're going to execute General Truscott's orders with glider planes. And you can see the current situation. Once we win this battle, this war will come to an end. And we are winning this engagement. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. In the peace treaty, I'm going to focus on making a bunch of supervised states or puppets. And we did well enough that I should be able to make Germany a supervised state. I'll pass once and make them a supervised state. And I'm going to satellite whatever I can. And whatever I can't, I'll take the territory for the factories and resources. So this peace treaty should go pretty well for us. Alright, so look at the outcome of the peace treaty. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like I said, please leave a like. And I'll definitely be doing some more Hearts of Iron 4.